Join me as we mournfully celebrate the final Zenshu Wednesday. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episodes 11 and 12 of Zenshu, the final two episodes closing this series out. And last episode introduced chaos. The end of the series is upon us, and this begins with the entire town turning to chaos after just everything has gone wrong. And the townspeople are turning on Natsuko, and the cult is spreading shit around. It's getting bad. And with one of our party now dead, having sacrificed himself, there's also kind of the question about, like, how much are we going to actually be able to change the destined path of everything? Because, like, we saw Natsuko was super depressed. We saw how this was affecting Luke, though he wasn't allowing it to, like, he wasn't allowing himself to truly mourn as he needed to. And it's just, everything was kind of going tits up. Which, by the way, why is that a phrase to refer to something going wrong, going bad? Like, what is the idea behind that? Going tits up. It's like, that doesn't sound bad. That sounds pretty nice, actually. I don't know. I don't know where that came from. But, yeah. Like, I'm very conflicted. Because I love this series, and I'm very excited to see how it ends. Though I'm also very scared to see how it ends. Because I feel like there's multiple ways this could go with its closure. And it could end up being very bittersweet. And I don't know if I'm ready for that. But we do have to get to this. And I want to get to this. And I don't know if this finale will leave up open for another season, or if this is just all there is based on the manga or other source material. But we'll see. We shall see. So let's just get into this and, well, hope for the best. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So first off, I looked this up because I was actually curious. Apparently this is an original anime. I don't know if I just knew that before and forgot about it. But this isn't based off of a manga or a light novel or anything like that. It's an anime original. Sort of like Carol and Tuesday or Lazarus. Which, funny, because we're watching Lazarus on the same day as this. But this is an anime original, so there's no manga to base off of, so there's, like, no, I guess, word of, like, if there's more to adapt or anything, because it's not adapted from anything. The ending kind of leaves it a tiny bit open for more. Like, with the idea of, like, you know, the 9 soldiers being in the reality now And she still had Yunio's horn, which she was using to tie up her hair. Which means that everything did happen. No matter what, this isn't like one of those cases where it's like, oh, it was all a dream the entire time. No, this actually happened, and that confirms that. Which means probably when she woke up in reality, she woke up in like the hospital after being, after collapsing and seemingly dying. This really happened. Somehow the horn came back with her. I don't know how that occurred, but she had all of these experiences. This was a real thing that occurred. Now with the way this ended, I'm mixed. Because there's aspects of it that I really like, but aspects of it I don't. Because even though this wasn't all a dream, it kind of gave off that vibe. It kind of gave off that same kind of vibe and feeling to it, with the fact that it's like, in the end, she just went back. Like, she saved the world of this, movie, of this fantasy world. She was able to, like, reverse everything that the Voids had done and killed, brought back all the Soul Futures, brought back everyone. Like, it was, by all accounts, an exceptional success to a degree that would be just completely unexpected. But the fact that she doesn't get to experience the aftermath of that, the fact that she doesn't get to enjoy her victory, feels disappointing. It feels kind of upsetting. Because you want her to be able to enjoy her victory. You want her to be able to, be with Luke and have fun with all of her new friends. And it's like, we don't get any closure on a lot of the stuff. Like, does Destiny still end up with the rich guy? Or is she going to, like, kind of revert back to, like, the Serval Cat persona again? We don't know. Because there's no conclusiveness to it, because Natsuko just goes back to her world. And it kind of leaves me wanting more. And I feel like that's probably the point. Like, you're supposed to want more, and maybe there will be another season. It's possible. Like, yeah, Carol and Tuesday didn't get another season, but that was directly meant as a single season thing. Same with Lazarus. It's meant to be only one season. And this, if you ended this here, it's like, it's a complete story. But it just feels like there's so much, like, there's so much that I really wish was delved further into, And on top of that, I just wanted to see her and Luke be together in the end, Because it felt like that was kind of the point. But it's like, it seems like the point kind of switched up in the end there. The point became more of like the meaning and depth behind everything. It kind of shifted to what it like was all representative of. Because the series is very clearly supposed to be like, oh, people can be inspired and their lives can be made better through works like this. Even works that are like universally panned or whatnot can be absolutely like viewed positively by a person and change their life for the better. And here we see it like through kind of more literal sense, with her life being changed for the better through experiencing this story and meeting these characters in like a real sense. And it's a different kind of like It's, again, it's a more, like, I don't know how to describe it. I'm bad at this. It's an in your face way of explaining the moral and the message, and that's fine. It's just very I don't know. It's just, it feels like it's trying to, like, delve into its moral and message more than trying to give, like, a satisfying ending. And I'm not saying the ending is bad necessarily. It's just, it's not what I felt like it was working up towards, and not what I felt like I wanted from it. Like, the message, like, obviously connecting to people who connect to these anime and have a strong, emotional resonance with them. It's like, I get that because I've been there. There's a lot of anime out there that I have that strong of a connection with, to where it's like, yeah, these characters have changed my life. These stories have made me better in a lot of ways. One Piece is a huge example of this. The Owl House is an example of this. And it's like, I fully understand what it's going for here, but I don't know, it really does give the same vibes as the "it was all a dream" kind of bullshit. Just without literally being that. So I'm a bit disappointed, even though I like what it's going for. It just feels like a little bit of a cop out, Feels like a little bit of a lazy cop out. I won't lie. And, like, at this point, I can only hope there will be a second season at some point. Because it really feels like, it just feels incomplete. It feels like it didn't have, like, a final ending. You know what it feels like? It feels like Hunter x Hunter, the anime specifically. The ending to the anime, it's like, okay, this is conclusive enough to where it's like, okay, if it ends here, cool. At least we got something to, like, kind of close us off on. But we know that the story continues. We know that there's more to it. So even though the ending kind of has this certain level of closure, it's not conclusive enough. It's not final enough to feel like it's the ending. You know what I mean? It's like, it feels like there's so much left undone, unsaid, incompleted. There's so many character threads that I don't know what's happening with now. And that leaves me just a little irritated. But yeah, maybe that's just me. And I want to say, like, this ending is not by any means bad. I want to make that clear. I've been, like, ranting about this for almost 10 minutes. I want to make it clear that I don't think this ending is bad by any means. Like, it's just that last bit. The rest of these 2 episodes, phenomenal. Exactly what I wanted. Perfect conclusion to this arc, this story, etc., etc. It's just that last bit where she returns to her world, and we just don't get any conclusion. Here's the thing. They could have done something more with that. Because Amphibia did. Amphibia was actually a great example of how to do this just a little better. Amphibia showed Anne and them having to go back to their world in the end. And it showed what happened afterwards. They grew up, they had new lives, and they remembered their time in Amphibia fondly. But they did move on as well. But we also checked in with what was going on in Amphibia with the other characters. And that's the one thing I think this could have done. They could have done it during the credits. Instead of showing clips from the series, during the credits they could have shown clips of what everyone else is doing in the world of A Tale of Perishing Now. And having that little cliffhanger bit at the end where it's like, oh, the 9 soldiers are now suddenly in the real world, Unio's horn glows and everything. It's like, okay, how? Why? Is this set up for a second season? Or is this just a little, like, fun little thing at the end? Because if that's not set up for a second season, and that's just a little like thing at the end, that is like the biggest tease. That's so mean. And we have no idea how they would have gotten there. We have no idea how, like, what happened before then for them to come here. Because, again, they didn't explain anything. And it's like, if this does get a second season and does continue this, I feel like it could resolve all these problems. But as of now, it's like that just bit at the end does bother me a little bit. That being said, it's still like a 9.5 out of 10 at least in terms of the ending. It kind of went like how I was expecting outside of that very end bit. Like, obviously Luke was going to become the ultimate void, and Natsuko was going to have to save him. That was how I expected it. Yunio helping Natsuko, everyone helping Natsuko. And, you know, before able to be saved, the Ultimate Void obviously wreaking havoc on the last town and all. Like, that was going as I was thinking it was going to. That didn't surprise me, though, like, everyone dying kind of surprised me a little. But once they started, like, after it was just Justice, seeing, like, all the kids and Destiny dying as well, it's like, oh, that's going to be reversed. Like, I did, like, if it just had Destiny die instead of, like, Justice, that would have probably gotten to me a little more. But because it's like it had Justice die first, and then Destiny and the kids, it's like, oh, this is getting reversed. Like, not even a question. And then shortly after, the same thing happens to Memel and Yunio and all. And, of course, we see QJ come back, and then it starts to happen to them, as well as Natsuko and everything. It's like, yeah. It's obvious things are going to get reversed here. Also, it's really kind of weird. QJ being brought back and all this, like, build up to, like, that's what Meg and Sarah were doing really didn't need to happen. Because it's like, Natsuko, like, restoring the Soul Futures and everything brought everyone back anyway. Including all of the 9 soldiers who died in the past. So it's like, we just didn't need to do that. We just abso-fucking-lutely did not need to do that. It felt like... I feel like the only reason that they did do it was, like, to have Natsuko gain that little bit of hope in the midst of everything feeling hopeless there. But we already did that before with, like, you know, Natsuko in the kind of dream sequence, like while they were still stuck in the void, getting hope from everything, especially from Yunio in that time. So it's like, we kind of already did that. Well, you don't need to do that again. I don't know, it felt like kind of repetitive and unnecessary, but it wasn't bad, it just wasn't needed. I feel like there's a lot of people out there who, like, hear someone say, like, oh, this was just not needed in the series, and they'll take that as meaning, like, oh, this person thinks that was bad. And it's like, that's not what I said. I just said it was unneeded. Those are two entirely separate critiques. Something can be really well done, but completely unnecessary. And that's what I think it was. Something can also be, like, extremely necessary for the story, but be poorly done. It works both ways. And in this case, it was just like, it wasn't needed at all. You didn't need to do this. It was repetitive. It was entirely needless. But you did it well, at least. Seeing all these, like, random citizens and people starting to, like, get, like, horrifically wiped out was pretty intense. I won't lie. And, of course, like, the breakdown, Luke's breakdown, like I said in the reaction, it reminded me of Luffy's breakdown on Shabandi after the entire crew was taken from him. And that is, like, high praise, because that's, like, one of the best Luffy moments in the series, I would say. Um, Due to just the intense, visceral emotion and the performance, of course. In both the sub and dub, by the way. Both of those are, like, phenomenal in that scene. But here, with this, it's like the performance from Luke's VA, as well as just the raw, visceral emotion of it, it matched that. I do genuinely believe it matched that moment from One Piece. And yeah, that's just probably the best moment of this finale, weirdly enough. Because it did also feel like it was properly worked up to, like it did mean something. Which is what something like that needs to feel like. It did with One Piece as well. Luffy losing his crew, we understand why that fucked him up like that. Especially because he thought they were dead, for all he knew at that moment. So he was, like, panicked. And really emotionally fucked. And here, it's like, that's the same kind of thing. Luke thinks that Natsuko and Yunio are dead. And, you know, they were basically the two that he had left outside of Memel, and then the two he cared the most about. Because he loves Natsuko, and Yunio is his lifelong best friend. So it's like, yeah, it makes sense that he would have that visceral of a reaction over that. It was just exceptionally well done. I love how salty Bird Bitch was at the end. Like, just not being happy with the happy ending and everything. I kind of wish it was like showing everyone else fading from, like, the ultimate void and being killed by that. I kind of wish it showed that happening with her, too. Like, I just really wish it did. But I also like that, in the end, Natsuko did change from this experience. Because that, again, that's kind of the point. That's what it's going for. Natsuko has come to realize not just how much this movie and these characters meant to her, because she already knew that, but she became influenced by them in a different way than she ever expected. Her entire view of it all was changed because of her experience within the world of it. And she was able to turn her life around and become a better person. As much as the ending of her going back to the real world is something I'm not a huge fan of, I do like, again, the messaging and everything that it came with. It's just, again, it feels like way too close to the it was all a dream kind of situation. I just honestly, genuinely wish she had stayed in that world. I do also like the fact that the voice telling her she needed to draw was always herself. It was just her inner voice, her younger inner voice, reminding her of, like, of what was so important to her, everything that had inspired her and all. And we finally got to see, like, that in its entirety. It's like there's so many great moments here. So many just amazing moments. And it's like, I really, really do hope this... Let me see if anything's been talked about with that. Because I don't know if, like, there has been any discussion about it. There's been no announcement or confirmation according to this. It's hard to say with how this ended, and with the fact that this is, like, a modern, like, anime original. A lot of these modern anime originals are just a one and done. Again, I gave the examples of Carol and Tuesday and Lazarus, which is also currently airing. I don't know. It's just hard to say. I hope it does get one. I really do, because I would like to see this continue. And honestly, seeing the nine soldiers in the real world and having to get accustomed to that would be funny as hell. Just kind of like a reverse isekai with that. I think that could be really good too. Um, but yeah, I'm 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 conflicted about this ending, but again, for the vast majority of it, I am really happy with it. Like again, 9.5 out of 10 is still really damn good. It's just that little bit that just bothers me to a small degree. It doesn't ruin the episodes for me. It doesn't ruin the ending, but it does just it's just a little disappointing. It's a little unsatisfying. So now the question is, what will replace this on Wednesdays, along with well, that will go along with Lazarus for the next what, week or two, because there's 13 episodes of Lazarus, and yeah, I think it's just there's going to be 2 more weeks of that until that has to be switched to. There's been a couple things I've been thinking about, like going towards and getting back to lately. And I've just been kind of like debating on like when I want to get to something, what day I want to put certain things on. You know how it is. It's just one of those cases where I want to make sure I have the right things on the right day in terms of reactions. Because some days would like be better for some shows for me. And so I was thinking, like, what do I replace Zenshu with? What would be a good thing for Wednesdays? Something like, kind of middle of the week day. Um, I don't want anything like too long. Like I don't want like a double length runtime type of show like we have with Lucifer already. I don't want anything that's going to be like super heavy. I think I want the middle of the right now at least. I want the middle of the week things to be kind of lighter or more fun. Which yes, I count Lazarus as lighter comparative to some stuff we get into. Like compared to Scavenger's Reign, yes, definitely lighter. um Lazarus can get like pretty heavy at times, but it's like it's still very digestible is what I'm saying. I don't want it to be like too hype either. Like we have like big hype stuff at the beginning of the week with One Piece and To Be Hero X. We have Freerin and Ray Cutie Honey at the end of the week, which is I would consider pretty hype as well. Especially Ray Cutie Honey with how it's like designed and styled. I want this to just be stuff I can just, sit back, enjoy, and have fun with. Well, occasionally, yes, tackling some bigger subjects, but not in a way that makes it like too heavy, you know what I mean? And so I think the best choice for Wednesday to take over for Zenshu right now, and to join Lazarus at least until Lazarus is done, and then that will be replaced too. I think I'm going to replace Zenshu with Adventure Time, Season 9. It's been a little bit since I got to Adventure Time. I don't remember exactly when it was. I could probably check right quick if this will let me. But we did Season 8, and I really enjoyed that. I especially really enjoyed Islands, the multi-part special of Season 8. And I've been wanting to get back to Season 9 pretty much since I ended Season 8. Especially since, once again, we have Season 9 and 10, and then we have Distant Lands, I think it's called, before we can even get to, like, Fiona and Cake, which I think has a second season coming. So it's like, there's still plenty more to get to after the main series of Adventure Time. And I'm very curious to see like what all of these other spin-offs are able to do, because I think all of them are like not on Cartoon Network. Like, weren't they all like on Max or other streaming services, which could give them a lot more freedom to do like crazier stuff and whatnot? But obviously, do not spoil me to any of that. But let me check here. Let me check when the last when it was that I actually finished season 8, because I don't remember exactly. It was last year. I know that. Like, I'm very sure on that. I just don't remember when last year. Now we have to wait for YouTube Studio to catch up and realize that I typed that in and everything. Give it a second. While that's coming up, though, there's been a lot of stuff I've been thinking about lately with the channel and everything as well. And I might make some updates coming up in the future. I'm thinking about switching a couple days around. It's not going to like be like a huge deal. But I'm thinking about like maybe putting like a couple shows on a different day than they are currently. Because of like what I said with the entire certain shows work better on certain days and everything kind of situation. And I don't know like what that would end up looking like right now, but I'll keep you updated. That being said, so Adventure Time Season 8, I finished Season 8 with Islands in July of last year. Okay, it was actually July 31st. It was literally the last day of July that I put up Islands. So we're getting back to it like almost a year later, it seems. Um, because it's like, it's only June still, but it's taken about a year. I think it's definitely about time we get back to Adventure Time then. Now I know seasons 9 and 10 are both short. I think they're pretty much equal to like season 8 in terms of length. So I might end up just going through both of the seasons in one run. I'm not going to promise anything yet. I will talk more about this next week when we get to Adventure Time. And I do know, by the way, already that the special set of episodes for season 9 starts with episode 2. So I'm just going to tell you right now, episode 1 is going to be on its own. Next week, we are going to just do episode 1, and then we're going to do like the special, which I don't know what it's called offhand, but we're going to do that all in one video, as we did with Islands. It's weird that it starts with episode 2, that you get like an episode 1 before the special starts, so it's weird placement. But that's how we're going to do it. So yeah. And I think that's like 8 episodes total. But we'll tackle that when we get to that. So yeah. Tell me in the comments below, what did you think of these final 2 episodes of Zenshu? What do you think about how this all went down? And especially the ending. What do you think about, like, Natsuko going back? And not having, like, any conclusive, follow-up to any of the characters in the world of A Tale of Perishing. Also, that cliffhanger as well. What do you think about all of that? Do you think there will be a second season? Would you want a second season? Let me know. And thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.